Buddies. My name is Julie, and today we'll be talking about introducing infant proteins. So around 6 months of age, baby's ready to start solids, and we like to call this complementary feeding because they are still having the breast milk and formula, but we're introducing solids so they can fill in some of the nutritional gaps that just naturally occur as they grow. And you know when baby's ready to eat solids when they can sit up by themselves, hold their head steady, and when you offer them a spoon of food, they can open their mouth, curl their lips around the spoon, and take the food and put it to the back of their mouth. If their tongue reflex is still there, everything's just going to come right back out the front and they're not going to get anything. So there used to be recommendations of when to offer certain foods, like starting with fruits before vegetables, but there's no recommendation anymore. You can just offer them in whatever order they like. And like I mentioned, nutritional gaps, they are occurring, and one of those being iron. And so baby's born with a 6-month supply, and at this time, when they reach that 6 months, all of their iron storage is out, and so we want to start feeding them foods that are rich in iron. You can see here how much of an increase they have when they hit that 6-month range. So they go from needing not even 1 milligram to needing 11 milligrams, and then they also have an increase in protein and zinc needs. So, like I said, there's no order of what you need to introduce foods to, but we do recommend introducing those iron-rich foods sooner than later. So high-protein foods are a great source, so meats, beans, lentils, peanut butter, eggs, they're all great sources. And another thing is textures. We also want to introduce textures to baby, and this is just to transition them to table foods eventually. And two popular feeding methods right now are pouches and baby-led weaning, and we don't really recommend those here at WIC because we want to see baby transition to those table foods and consume the nutrients. With pouches, they're just kind of stuck on that puree phase, and they aren't getting new textures, and so transitioning to table foods is going to be more difficult. And with baby-led weaning, they're just kind of gnawing on a chicken bone and aren't really consuming any of the nutrients. So we want to see them make that transition. And so today, we're going to just make a simple peanut butter puree. And for that, all you do is take 2 teaspoons of peanut butter, along with about 2 teaspoons of water, breast milk, or formula. And so I have water and peanut butter already in there. And then you take a baby puree that they've already had and enjoy. So I'm using banana, assuming baby likes banana, and I'm just going to put 2 teaspoons in there. And the reason we put the water or breast milk or formula in there is because baby's still working on developing those swallowing muscles, and sticky peanut butter just may make it a little difficult. So you just stir, 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 stir. And make sure you use creamy, smooth peanut butter and not the crunchy, because baby's not ready for nuts yet. And after a lot of mixing, it'll have a smooth consistency. And it's also easier if you use a warm liquid. After a while, it'll be nice and smooth. And some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I thought we were supposed to wait until baby turned a year to give them peanuts. But actually, they're recommending now that you give them earlier than later, because the earlier you give them that allergen, the less likely they are to develop an allergy. But if you have a specific allergy that runs in your family, make sure you talk to your doctor before trying any of this at home. And also make sure you're introducing this peanut protein to baby when they're healthy, and that you can watch them 2 hours after giving them the food, so you can watch for any reactions. This is also why we recommend to wait 3 to 5 days after introducing a new food, so that if baby does have a reaction, you know exactly which food caused that reaction. And with other purees, you can, if you have a blender or food processor at home, you can kind of just use your imagination. Cooked meats, cooked beans, lentils, eggs, they're all great, especially if you mix them with a fruit or vegetable puree along with breast milk or formula as needed. And then for the next two textures, for mashed and chopped, mashed, a good example would be using cooked lentils with a cooked sweet potato and a cooked apple and kind of pulsing that a little bit on a blender or food processor to get the desired consistency. And again, you can use formula or breast milk to get it to the one you like. And then for chopped, it gets even easier. You can just use a hard-boiled egg and mash it up with a fork. And then eventually we'll get them transition to those nice table foods, so you can just give them little pieces of chicken or scrambled eggs or beans that they can just snack on themselves. And so next time you're in at the WIC office, feel free to ask them for some recipes and handouts that might give you a few more ideas. But thank you for joining us today on Breastfeeding Buddies, and we'll see you next week at 10 o'clock.